We met at work, both fresh-faced and full of ambition, just starting out as professionals. Olivia had this laugh, the kind that made you forget everything else around you. It was infectious. You couldn't help but get drawn into her energy. After a few months of working together, I finally got the courage to ask her to marry me. I was ready, but she laughed it off, telling me it was too soon. So we carried on, no commitments, no promises, just living life side by side for years. Then one day she left without any explanation. I was blindsided. Just when I had started to move on, she showed up on my doorstep, as unexpected as a storm. We started talking, but the conversation quickly spiraled into an argument, both of us accusing each other of everything that had gone wrong. You kept me tied down for 4 years, and then you decide to marry someone else after just 2 months? I yelled, unable to hold back the frustration. She shot back, I never tied you down. I turned away in anger. You didn't tie me down? What about all of this? I gestured around me. Your life, your comfort, your wealth. Money always wins, doesn't it? My words cut deeper than I intended. Calm down, she said, trying to steady the situation, but her voice cracked and there were tears in her eyes. I wanted to soften, but I couldn't. We have nothing to talk about, Olivia. Just go, I said, heading toward the door, my heart heavy with a mixture of confusion and pain. But she grabbed my hand in desperation. Wait, you can't just throw me out like that. This is important. Her voice trembled, and for a moment I hesitated. She continued, her voice breaking. It's about my father. He needs surgery. We need the money. I felt a pang of guilt, but still something didn't sit right. I looked at her, trying to remain calm. I'm sorry, but I can't do this. Go back to your husband, I said softly, my voice steady but resolute. But she choked back a sob, clinging to me, and said through her tears, I'm sorry too. I'm filing for divorce. She wrapped her arms around my neck and buried her face in my chest, but I stood frozen, not able to return the embrace. My mind raced and the guilt weighed heavily on my shoulders. I need time to forgive, I whispered, my hand gently brushing her back. Her tears had changed, anger now mixed with sorrow, regret, and something else, something deeper that I couldn't place. You have to forgive me, she demanded, her voice shaky. I sighed, trying to soothe her. Please calm down. Just calm down. But she cried harder, as if the emotions between us were building to a breaking point. Do you want to visit your dad? I asked, not sure if I was even asking the right thing. She shook her head. No. He doesn't even know I left my husband. My jaw clenched in disbelief. Wait, you ran away? Are you out of your mind? What kind of mess have you gotten yourself into? The tension was unbearable. Then she blurted it out, her voice full of raw emotion. I want to be with you. That was the moment I gave in. I allowed her to stay with me, but only on the condition that she would pay me back the next day and file for divorce within the next few weeks. The next day she left, and then she vanished without a trace. I searched everywhere, but she was gone, and the only place I hadn't checked was her parents' house. So I hit the road, hoping for answers. When I arrived, Olivia's mother met me at the gate, her reluctance palpable, but she invited me inside. Her father was in the yard, carrying boxes with surprising ease. We sat down and I started to tell them everything that had happened with Olivia. But all I got in return were confused looks. She's not here, her father finally said, sighing heavily. There's no surgery. Olivia and her husband are at home, safe and sound. We never liked what was going on between the two of you. Honestly, we were relieved when Olivia found someone decent. And here you are again. What's your deal? Just leave my daughter alone. His tone was sharp and he stood up, slapping me on the shoulder. Stay out of our family matters. As I left their house, I felt like a complete fool. My head was pounding and I was drowning in a sense of humiliation. I got in my car and was about to drive off when I saw a Jeep pulling up. Olivia was sitting in the passenger seat, tears streaming down her face. My heart skipped a beat as I rushed toward the vehicle. I didn't wait for it to stop. I ran straight for it. The car screeched to a halt, and the guy in the driver's seat quickly got out, opening the trunk to grab some suitcases. Her father, still in the yard, saw them and clutched his chest. Daughter, he cried, his voice filled with disbelief. The man in the car turned to me, his eyes sharp and challenging. Who are you? He demanded. I barely managed to hold back a sarcastic laugh. Yeah, I'm the lover, I muttered, feeling the weight of the absurdity of the situation. Get out of here, he shouted at Olivia, his voice cold. Olivia's mother's voice rang out, sharp and unforgiving. That's what they raised, a whole permanent mess. Olivia stood there, staring at me, her face unreadable. She didn't say a word. just stared at us both as if trying to decide where she belonged. Then, slowly, she walked toward the gate without a glance back. The man in the Jeep turned to me, his words cutting through the silence. "Take her. She's yours. But don't expect any more money from us." He sneered as if it were a final dismissal. "What kind of money?" Olivia's father shot back, his tone tense. "The renovation for this cabin? Her mother's surgery? Don't forget about the new teeth too, or was it the other way around?" The man in the Jeep waved his hands in frustration, clearly over the conversation. "It's all a damn bluff," he muttered, glaring at me. As the scene unfolded, I realized the truth. Olivia's father had never needed surgery. Olivia had lied about everything. The whole story about needing money for a surgery had been a fabrication. Olivia's husband laughed in disbelief. "She came straight to you, didn't she?" he said, barely able to keep the bitterness out of his voice. "Yeah, I kicked her out because of the party, told her to leave. But she didn't go to her parents. She came straight to you." I stood there, stunned. Betrayal was all around me and I was drowning in it. But as I drove home, I realized something important. Maybe it was for the best that Olivia left me. Maybe she needed to change, to leave, and to create a mess of lies and manipulation in the process. In the end, love, money, and everything else couldn't fix this broken story. And I knew then that it could never be fixed by anything.